How do I get my policies with climate change science? I get asked this question a lot, and you look at the data and you can see some change in the climate. But then again, pick a point in history where you haven't seen change in the climate. The climate does change. Question is, what is causing the climate to change? And I think most scientists, in fact, I assume all scientists would agree, there are a variety of factors that cause the climate to change. I don't think any scientist in the world would suggest there isn't a variety of factors, and I think the vast majority of scientists say there's probably 100 factors that cause the climate to change. And so why have we decided that this one particular factor, carbon dioxide, is in fact the tip of the tail that wags the entire dog? Why, from a scientific point of view, do we make the assertion that this is in fact what is the case when there is a whole lot of other factors out there that could be affecting it? So that's the question, and some people have very strong feelings that it is that. There are a lot of other people who don't. Here's the other question. Let's even assume, for purposes of argument, not that I agree with it, for purposes of argument, that they're right. Then what would be a rational response? Well, if you have a problem and you want to craft something, what should that thing that you're crafting do? Solve the problem. Do any of the proposed solutions put forward by Al Gore and his friends do anything to solve the problem? Even the scientists who support the theory will admit to you that it doesn't do anything to solve the problem. So query, why support the solution? Other than you may have some other agenda that may be in place here, right? And let's go back to what that agenda is. There's a common theme that you should be hearing here. They don't trust you to allocate resources in a way that they believe is best. And so they want to have a system that forces you to do what they think you should do in running your business and your lives. That is top down and the basis of America. And I go back to the starting comments that I made. America is based on this concept, the Declaration of Independence, right? Rights from God, God-given rights to use, to provide for yourself and your family, to pursue happiness, right? Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness in that declaration. The sanctity of life, the dignity of all life. Liberty. To do what? To pursue happiness. Happiness as defined at the time of our founders is not exactly the same definition as it is today. It's not, actually. Today, people think of enjoyment, pleasure, what makes you feel good. But you actually read the definition of dictionary definition of happiness at the time of our founders, and you'll find one of the prominent dictionary definitions is to do the morally right thing. So we had rights coming to us from God to have the freedom to pursue and do the right thing. To do what you ought to do, not what you want to do. Our founders understood, John Adams said, our Constitution was made because our Constitution was this document that had radical freedom. I mean, you look at this Constitution and the 10 Amendments. Radical freedom, real freedom, and never before seen in the history of the world, the kind of freedom that this document was given. And our founders were concerned, and so Adams said, all of the founders said, this Constitution, this radical freedom was made for a moral and religious people. It was wholly inadequate for the governance of any others. Why? Well, because if you don't do what you ought to do and just do what you want to do, and you have this freedom to do it, then you have the situation, as this gentleman was talking about here, with members of Congress trading insider deals. And government gets bigger and bigger and bigger as we